Mortal Kombat is one of the most popular franchises when it comes to fighting games. If most gamers know some of the characters like Scorpion, Katana, or Sub-Zero, few know the story behind these fighters. And yes, Mortal Kombat has a story, and a pretty deep one. I'm Caboose with the Leaderboard, and this is the timeline for Mortal Kombat. Before jumping to the beginning of the story of Mortal Kombat, let's take a quick look at the game's timeline, or should I say timelines plural? Because there are two major timelines within the Mortal Kombat games. The original timeline, covering the events of the first 7 games, and the alternative timeline following the rebooted trilogy of Mortal Kombat 9 to MK11. Long before the event of the first game, there were only 3 immortal beings in the entire universe: the Titans, the Elder Gods, and the One Being. The One Being gained his power by taking it from the Elder Gods, who teamed up with the Titans to get it back. The Elder Gods created 6 powerful weapons to defeat the One Being, called the Kamidogu. These pieces eventually became the main realms of the Mortal Kombat universe: Earthrealm, Netherrealm, Outworld, Chaos Realm, Edenia, and Order Realm, also known as Saito. There are also several other smaller realms, as well as 2 subconscious ones: the Dream Realm and the Nightmare Realm. The Titans and Elder Gods disagreed on how to rule these realms. The Titans believe in order and that all life on realms should have no free will. The Elder Gods, who lived under the threat of the One Being, strongly disagree. They eventually decide to create a mystical contest that would determine the fate of the realms. If one realm wishes to conquer another one and merge it with their own, they would need to defeat their best warrior in 10 consecutive tournaments. This competition, held every 50 years, will be known as Mortal Kombat. The realms begin to fight against each other to get more powerful. Netherrealm attacks Outworld, which conquers smaller realms to get stronger. Outworld, led by the Dragon King Onaga, manages to repel the invasion, but the war between the realms was just getting started. The Elder Gods chose a protector for each of the realms, but that wasn't enough to guarantee peace. Shao Kahn, the protector of Outworld, poisoned Onaga to take control of the realm for himself. Under his rule, Outworld continues to attack and merge with smaller realms to get stronger. Shao Kahn eventually manages to defeat Edenia in 10 consecutive Mortal Kombat tournaments, granting him the power to invade this realm. Besides Shao Kahn, the other major antagonist from the Mortal Kombat series is Shinnok, a former Elder God that wants to take over Earthrealm. But the protector of this realm, Raiden, the God of Thunder, won't let him invade this hometown that easily. After a long war, Raiden defeats Shinnok, takes away his source of power, and seals him away in Netherrealm. But that doesn't stop Shinnok, who becomes the ruler of Netherrealm. His goal is now to seek death and destruction across all the realms. Shinnok is not the only one who wants to get control of Earthrealm though. The other bad guy of the series, Shao Kahn, wants to get this realm. His champion, Goro, won 9 consecutive Mortal Kombat tournaments. There is only one tournament left that will decide the fate of Earthrealm. This is when the first Mortal Kombat game begins. The final tournament for control of Earthrealm is hosted by Shang Tsung, a powerful sorcerer who pledged alliance to Shao Kahn. 7 warriors fight in this tournament. Shang Tsung asks Raiden to take part in this competition. The God of Thunder invites 3 other warriors: Johnny Cage, a martial arts superstar, Lieutenant Sonya Blade from the US Special Forces unit, and Liu Kang, a Shaolin monk. To represent Outworld, Shang Tsung invites Sub-Zero, a mysterious warrior that belongs to the Lin Kuei, a legendary clan of Chinese ninjas. The real reason for Sub-Zero to join this tournament though was to assassinate Shang Tsung, as he was paid a large sum of money by the host's wealthy enemies. Scorpion, an undead ninja, enters the tournament to kill Sub-Zero. He claims that Sub-Zero killed him and his clan, so he's now seeking revenge. The last warrior joining this Mortal Kombat competition is Kano, a thug from the Black Dragon organization who wants to loot Shang Tsung's palace.
Sonya, Sub, Scorpion, Liu Kang, Raiden, Kano, Johnny, Sonya, Sub, Scorpion, Liu Kang, Raiden.
Following his failure, Shang Tsung begs Shao Kahn to spare his life. He suggests inviting Earthrealm's warriors into Outworld for another tournament, which would become the main event of Mortal Kombat 2. Shao Kahn agrees and sends the invitation to Raiden and his warriors. Johnny Cage, Liu Kang, Scorpion, and Raiden are coming back to the tournament. Shang Tsung and his personal bodyguard Reptile also joins the competition. Sub-Zero is back, but he isn't the same person. The new Sub-Zero is actually Kuai Liang, the younger brother of the original Sub-Zero, Bi-Han. When he realizes that Kuai Liang is the younger brother of the Sub-Zero he killed, the Scorpion secretly swears to protect him as retribution for slaying his brother. 5 new characters join the Mortal Kombat cast: Baraka, one of Shao Kahn's enforcers, Jax Briggs, a member of the US Special Forces and friend of Sonya Blade, Kung Lao, a Shaolin monk and best friend of Liu Kang, Katana, the stepdaughter of Shao Kahn, and Mileena, a clone of Katana created by Shang Tsung and adopted by Shao Kahn as his daughter. Katana secretly reaches out to the Earthrealm heroes to help them defeat Shao Kahn. Mileena finds out about her sister's plans and tries to defeat her. Katana kills Mileena, revealing that she is no longer loyal to the Khan. Even if he has home field advantage, Shao Kahn loses the competition. Liu Kang wins his second Mortal Kombat tournament in a row. Needless to say, Shao Kahn is pretty fed up with his continuous losses. To finally take over Earthrealm, he enacts a 10,000-year-old plan in Mortal Kombat 3. He uses his Shadow Priests, led by Shang Tsung, to revive Queen Sindel. But instead of bringing her back to Outworld, Shao Kahn revives his queen on Earthrealm, giving him a reason to go there to claim her back. This unholy act gives Shao Kahn the power to open a dimensional portal between the two realms. It slowly turns Earthrealm into a part of Outworld, finalizing Shao Kahn's plan to take over this realm. Through his portal, Shao Kahn claims the souls of all human life, killing millions in the process. Only a few souls survive this assault, the ones that will defend Earthrealm in the upcoming Mortal Kombat tournament. Shao Kahn sends extermination squads across the realm to kill the remaining survivors. Raiden cannot help them as he has no power in Outworld, and Earthrealm is now partially merged with that realm. Liu Kang, the reigning champion of Mortal Kombat, leads the rebellion against Shao Kahn. He wants to not only save Earthrealm, but also to free Katana's home realm of Edenia. One of the extermination squad, led by the centaur called Mataro, catches up with Johnny Cage and kills the martial arts specialist. However, his soul was unable to ascend to a higher place of existence, so it returns to its body. Shao Kahn brings Mileena back to life after her murder by her twin sister Katana. Her ability to read her sister's thoughts allows Shao Kahn to stay one step ahead of his enemies. In New York City, a single person survived the invasion of Outworld, Stryker. Raiden explains to him what happens, so Stryker decides to find and join the other Earthrealm warriors. Jax finds out where Sonya and Kano were imprisoned in Outworld and frees them both. Jax and Sonya join the Earthrealm resistance, while Kano flees and joins Shao Kahn's forces. Upon learning that Kano is free, a former Black Dragon warrior called Cabal decides to join the rebellion. He believes Kano is responsible for the accident that led him to depend on a respirator and wants to get his revenge. Another new character joins the resistance, Nightwolf. This Native American shaman received visions that warned him about the imminent invasion of Earthrealm by Outworld. Feeling guilty for not preventing it, he joins the human offensive against Khan by casting a magical protection over his ancestors' traditional homeland in North America. The Lin Kuei, a legendary clan of Chinese ninjas, wants to use the latest advancements in human technologies to turn their assassins into soulless machines. They select 4 ninjas to serve as the first prototypes: Cyrax, Sector, Smoke, and Sub-Zero. Smoke and Sub-Zero refuse and leave the clan, but Smoke is captured and turned into one of these soulless machines, now programmed to hunt down and kill Sub-Zero. To escape this threat, Sub-Zero joins the rebellion against Shao Kahn. Scorpion, learning that Sub-Zero is in danger, sides with the Earthrealm warriors against Shao Kahn to help his protege. One more character joins the Mortal Kombat roster, Shiva, a Shokan following Shao Kahn's orders and whose mission is to protect Queen Sindel. Luckily for Earthrealm, Liu Kang and the rebellion crush Shao Kahn. The realm of Edenia is also freed from Outworld's control. Katana, the stepdaughter of Shao Kahn and daughter of Queen Sindel, manages to reach her mother. Sindel was completely brainwashed with no memory of her past and complete loyalty to Shao Kahn. Katana convinces her of her true past, turning Sindel against the Emperor. Queen Sindel takes her rightful place on the Edenian throne. She vows to rebuild her realm and bring down Shao Kahn for his crimes. In Mortal Kombat 4, an even bigger threat than Shao Kahn looms over the universe. Shinnok, the elder god that Raiden banished to Netherrealm, managed to escape. An evil sorcerer named Quan Chi helped him get away from Netherrealm, and now Shinnok is seeking revenge against the elder gods. Edenia, that just got freed from the invasion of Outworld, is the first target of Shinnok. Tanya, a woman from Edenia, betrays her realm by convincing Queen Sindel to welcome Shinnok and his highest generals as refugees. As soon as he gets to Edenia, Shinnok launches a full-scale invasion and captures Queen Sindel and her daughter, Princess Katana. He then launches an attack against the heavens, killing 3 of the 4 elemental gods. Only Fujin, the god of wind and younger brother of Raiden, manages to escape with the help of the Shaolin monks Liu Kang and Kai. In order to stop Shinnok's evil plans, Raiden requests help from the Earthrealm warriors who defeated Shao Kahn in the previous games. Raiden and his warriors manage to defeat Shinnok's soldiers. The former Elder God faces Liu Kang in combat, but the Shaolin monk wins the fight. Raiden banishes Shinnok back to the Netherrealm. The fate of Quan Chi is at the hands of Scorpion. While they were still in the Netherrealm, the sorcerer told the ninja that Sub-Zero killed his wife and child. Scorpion swore to kill Kuai Liang just as he slew his older brother. But upon defeating Sub-Zero, Scorpion learns that the real murderer of his family was Quan Chi. The sorcerer tries to transport him back to Netherrealm, but Scorpion takes Quan Chi with him to get his revenge. Mortal Kombat Deadly Alliance begins sometime after Scorpion took Quan Chi with him in the Netherrealm. The sorcerer manages to escape using the Amulet of Shinnok, a powerful artifact that contains the Elder God's divine power. Raiden took this amulet when he first banished Shinnok to Netherrealm. Quan Chi hired the original Sub-Zero Bi-Han to retrieve this amulet and gave Shinnok a duplicate of the artifact while keeping the original for himself. Once out of the Netherrealm, Quan Chi finds a tomb filled with the mummified remains of Onaga, the Dragon King's army. Quan Chi needs to find a way to revive this army, so he seeks the help of another powerful sorcerer, Shang Tsung. The right-hand man of Emperor Shao Kahn needs to feed off souls to remain immortal. Quan Chi offers him an endless source of souls by creating a portal to the heavens if Shang Tsung agrees to transplant warrior souls into the mummified remains of the Dragon King's army. Shang Tsung accepts this offer and the Deadly Alliance is formed. This duo seems unstoppable. They managed to defeat the strongest hero of the Mortal Kombat series so far, Liu Kang. The sorcerer consumes his soul, using it to resurrect the army of the Dragon King. They also kill Shao Kahn, the former master of Shang Tsung, or at least so they think. It later appears that Kahn didn't die and that the Deadly Alliance just killed a clone. That has no impact on Mortal Kombat Deadly Alliance, but will come in handy in future games. As they seemingly killed the 2 beings able to stop them, the Deadly Alliance is on its way to bringing back the strongest army ever to take control of all the realms. Of course, Raiden cannot see this happening without doing something about it, but his condition as protector of Earthrealm prevents him from intervening in Outworld, where the army is getting resurrected. He tries to convince the Elder Gods to do something to stop the Deadly Alliance, but they firmly believe in free will and refuse to act. Disgusted, Raiden renounces his Elder God status and returns to Earthrealm to build his own army. The Earthrealm heroes gather once again, and they all head to Outworld to face this new threat. But things don't go well for the good guys. Jax Briggs, Johnny Cage, Kung Lao, Sonya Blade, and Katana all die in battle. Sub-Zero also dies, betrayed by his pupil Frost. Only Raiden is left to stop the undead army. Mortal Kombat Deception continues this story. The Deadly Alliance manages to revive the mummified remains of the Dragon King's undefeatable army. Shang Tsung realizes that once he is done transplanting the souls, he'll become useless to Quan Chi. Afraid of being betrayed by his partner, he secretly orders Kano to steal Shinnok's amulet from Quan Chi to get control of the undead army. Shang Tsung and Quan Chi fight to take control of their army when an even bigger threat appears. Onaga, the Dragon King and former ruler of Outworld, is reborn. Onaga is back and is not here to follow anyone's orders. The Dragon King is one of the strongest beings in the entire Mortal Kombat universe. He manipulated a man named Shujinko into spending his life collecting the Kamidogu, the Elder God's weapons scattered across the 6 realms. When Shujinko finally gathered all the Kamidogu, Onaga reveals his plan on using them to gain control over reality. He just misses one of the Kamidogu, the stolen amulet of Shinnok.
I am Onaga, the Dragon King of Outworld and soon to be ruler of all that exists.
The Deadly Alliance and Raiden team up to face this new threat, but they are no match against the Dragon King. In a final attempt to kill Onaga, Raiden unleashes all of his godly energy in a single blast. While it does destroy everything around him, Onaga emerges from the blast unharmed. He finally holds all the Kamidogo he needs to control the universe. Onaga travels back to Outworld to reassume his throne as the original ruler of the realm. From there, he wants to merge the 6 Kamidogo into a single one, creating the ultimate weapon that could reshape all the realms. Let's just say Thanos would be proud. To strengthen his army, Onaga can count on Melina. The Dragon King commands her to pose as her twin sister Katana to lead the Edenian army. Raiden reconstitutes himself back on Earthrealm, but his essence is tainted by Onaga's evil. The corruption leads to Raiden becoming furious with the way Earthrealm's inhabitants had treated their own realm. He becomes even more furious when he learned that Shujinko got the Kamidogu for Onaga. All this rage turns Raiden into Dark Raiden, a ruthless version of himself ready to crush anyone who threatens Earthrealm. Shujinko swears to get his revenge on Onaga, who used him for years, and eventually save the universe since the Dragon King is threatening all the realms. As he spent his entire life collecting the Kamidogu, Shujinko has a lot of experience and faced many dangers. Onaga also granted him a special power to help him in his quest, the ability to copy the powers of anyone he fights. Shujinko gathers some of the best warriors of all realms and absorbs their power. Now stronger than ever, Shujinko is able to destroy the 6 Kamidogu and defeat the Dragon King. Nightwolf, the Native American shaman, uses his ancestral knowledge to trap Onaga's soul in the Netherrealm. All the events of the past Mortal Kombat games made the combatants way too powerful. They grew too strong, and their powers threatened to destroy the fabric of the entire universe. If they keep on fighting, they could rip apart reality and cause the apocalypse. Enter Mortal Kombat Armageddon. Long before the events of the games, Queen Delia, a powerful sorceress from Edenia, foresaw these events. To prevent Armageddon, she prepared a plan with the help of her husband Argus. They put their sons Taven and Dagon in incubation until the time comes to save the universe. To do so, Taven and Dagon would need to defeat an elemental created by Delia called Blaze. Back to the present day, all the warriors are fighting again, even those we believed were dead but were just trapped in Netherrealm. Suddenly, a pyramid rises from the ground and its tip bursts into flames. Blaze, the fire elemental, appears at the top. As his role is to destroy as many combatants as possible to restore balance to the universe, he challenges these warriors into battle, and of course, they won't say no. Instead of teaming up to defeat Blaze, Taven and Dagon fight against each other. They find a message from their father Argus saying that whoever kills Blaze first will take his place as an Elder God. Fueled by ambition, Dagon created the Red Dragon Crime Syndicate and now wants to kill his brother to reach Blaze first and become an Elder God. Taven eventually defeats his brother, but doesn't want to kill Blaze until he knows the real reason for his quest. Blaze reveals that only Taven or Dagon can kill him, as they have special armors bestowed by their parents. The fate of the world depends on which brother defeats the elemental. His death will either destroy all warriors or strip them of powers and abilities. However, Taven defeating Blaze and becoming an Elder God is not the canon ending. The real ending of Mortal Kombat Armageddon brings back an unexpected warrior. Shao Kahn, who tricked the Deadly Alliance into killing one of his clones, is back as the Emperor of Outworld. As Blaze is now free, the Emperor sees the perfect opportunity to seize his godlike powers and finally become the master of the universe. Shao Kahn manages to defeat Blaze and gain overwhelming powers. Only 2 warriors are left, Shao Kahn and Raiden. Before Kahn slays him, Raiden tries to prevent the end of times by sending a message to his younger self. He must win.
He must win.
Raiden's message to his past self creates a new timeline that begins with the reboot of Mortal Kombat in 2011. This game goes over the events of the original Mortal Kombat trilogy. We relive these events through the eyes of Raiden as he tries to prevent Armageddon with the knowledge he acquired from the future. Raiden struggles to understand the message from his future self. He must win, okay, but who? Most of the events remain the same as the original game. Liu Kang wins the tournament, Sindel is resurrected, and Shao Kahn invades Earthrealm. Raiden changes the timeline by saving Smoke from being turned into a soulless machine by the Lin Kuei. This causes Kuai Liang, the younger brother of the original Sub-Zero, to be captured and turned into one of these cybernetic ninjas. Raiden also saves Johnny Cage from the extermination squad sent by Shao Kahn when he invades Earthrealm. The God of Thunder and Liu Kang travel to request the Elder Gods to stop Shao Kahn's invasion. Just like in the original timeline, the Elder Gods refuse to intervene. While they were away, Sindel leads an attack on the Earthrealm warriors. Most of them die, and Katana is severely injured. Nightwolf sacrifices himself to kill Sindel. Raiden and Liu Kang return to Earthrealm, but Katana dies of her wounds. Johnny Cage and Sonya Blade are the only survivors, but they are too injured to continue fighting. Raiden realizes that his former self was trying to tell him if Shao Kahn wants to conquer Earthrealm, he must win the Mortal Kombat tournaments.
Liu Kang, I now realize what we must do. We must allow Shao Kahn to merge the realms.
That is insane.
The Elder Gods forbid it without victory in Mortal Kombat. When he does, the Elder God's fury will fall upon him. Defeating Shao Kahn before the merge is but temporary. He will return, bringing Armageddon. I have foreseen it.
Enough, Raiden!
Liu Kang blames Raiden for the death of his friends and goes off to attack Shao Kahn alone. Raiden tries to stop Liu Kang but ends up accidentally killing him. Overcome with guilt, Raiden surrenders to Shao Kahn. The Emperor of Outworld begins merging the two realms. The Elder Gods finally intervene, as Shao Kahn is violating the Mortal Kombat code by merging with another realm without winning 10 competitions in a row. They give Raiden great powers, allowing him to defeat the Outworld's Emperor. But after Shao Kahn's death, Raiden vows to rebuild Earthrealm. But the end of this Mortal Kombat reboot is not really a happy ending. Quan Chi, who is now an agent of Shinnok, reveals that the death of Shao Kahn and the weakening of Earthrealm was part of their plan to conquer all the realms. 2 years after the events of the Mortal Kombat reboot, Quan Chi and Shinnok put their plans into action in Mortal Kombat X. Quan Chi used the souls of all the warriors that died during the Earthrealm invasion to create his own undead army. Shinnok attacks Earthrealm with his army of Netherrealm demons and Quan Chi's revenants. The fallen Elder God wants to corrupt the Jinsei, Earth's life force. The last defenders of Earthrealm, Johnny Cage, Sonya Blade, Kenshi Takahashi, Fujin, and Raiden fight against Shinnok's forces. When Shinnok tries to kill Sonya, Johnny awakens unexpected ancient superpowers within himself to defend her. These newfound powers allow him to fend off Shinnok long enough for Raiden to steal Shinnok's amulet and imprison him inside it. However, Quan Chi manages to escape. The Earthrealm warriors track Quan Chi to his lair in Netherrealm. They manage to restore Scorpion, Sub-Zero, and Jax to their human form, but Quan Chi escapes once again. Peace comes back to Earthrealm. Johnny and Sonya marry and have a daughter, Cassie. Scorpion now uses his original name, Hanzo Hasashi. He rebuilds his clan and mentors Kenshi's son, Takeda. Sub-Zero kills Sector and becomes the new Grandmaster of the Lin Kuei. 20 years after Shinnok's defeat, Johnny trains a team of young fighters composed of Cassie, Takeda, Jax's daughter Jackie, and Kung Lao's nephew Kung Jin. This team goes off to Outworld to resolve a civil war between Mileena, who obtained Shinnok's amulet from Kano, and Outworld's current Emperor Kotal Kahn. They help Kotal recover the amulet and capture Mileena, who is executed on the Emperor's orders. Since the amulet was stolen on Earthrealm, Kotal doesn't trust Raiden and his friends to keep the amulet safe. He decides to keep it on Outworld and take Cassie and her friends hostage as leverage against Raiden. But Kotal's second in command, an insectoid named Devora, is a double agent for Quan Chi and steals the amulet. Cassie and her team escape and warn Earthrealm of Devora's betrayal. Jax and Kenshi, helped with a former servant of Quan Chi named Serena, lead an assault on Netherrealm to stop Quan Chi from getting the amulet. They manage to capture the Necromancer and bring him to an Outworld refugee camp on Earthrealm. Hanzo Hasashi, aka Scorpion, still has a score to settle with Quan Chi. He infiltrates the refugee camp with his clan to kill the Necromancer. As he's about to get his revenge, Devora arrives with the amulet. Quan Chi manages to cast a spell to release Shinnok from captivity just before Hanzo beheads him. Shinnok and Devora reach the Jinsei and corrupt Earthrealm's life force. Cassie's team go after Shinnok, but Kotal Kahn and his army stop them. He wants to kill the Earthrealm warriors to please Shinnok and buy some time to strengthen Outworld's defenses. Luckily, Sub-Zero and his Lin Kuei warriors appear just in time to repel the Outworld forces. When Cassie and her team arrive in the Jinsei chamber, D'Vorah is torturing Johnny. Cassie goes into a rage that unlocks superpowers similar to her father's. She uses these powers to defeat Shinnok and free her dad. Raiden purifies the Jinsei and strips Shinnok of his powers once again. Sonya and her soldiers arrive to take Shinnok and D'Vorah away. When he purified the Jinsei, Raiden got corrupted in the process. Just like in the original game, he turns into Dark Raiden and becomes ruthless against anyone threatening Earthrealm. And he holds Shinnok's amulet, making him stronger than ever before. He issues a warning to Revenants Liu Kang and Katana, now rulers of Netherrealm. If they ever threaten Earthrealm, they'll face fates worse than death. And to reinforce his threat, he leaves behind the severed but still living head of Shinnok.
There are fates worse than death.
Mortal Kombat 11 is the latest game to date from the series. Kronika, a Titaness, keeper of time, and mother of Shinnok, is furious after Dark Raiden decapitated her son. She believes Raiden is disrupting the balance between the forces of good and evil, so she wants to rewrite history and erase Raiden's existence. 2 years after Shinnok's beheading, Dark Raiden warns the Special Forces led by Sonya Blade, Cassie Cage, and Jackie Briggs that Netherrealm is planning to invade Earthrealm. The Special Forces decide to strike first and attack Netherrealm. Dark Raiden helps them by providing a diversion, allowing the team to destroy the Netherrealm castle. However, Sonya dies in the assault, sacrificing herself to ensure the mission's completion. Kronika appears before the Revenant Liu Kang and Katana, the rulers of the Netherrealm. She reverses time, rebuilding the castle and removing Raiden from existence. That creates an anomaly in time, creating a new alternative timeline. The removal of Raiden from existence cancels several fights between good and evil forces, therefore canceling the death of several characters.
The past is the past, is it not?
It need not be. I intend to wind time back to its beginning and restart history.
Meanwhile, Kotal Kahn, the current Emperor of Outworld, wants to execute Collector, a debt collector for Shao Kahn. He is interrupted by a time storm that brings back several characters. Johnny, Cassie, and Jackie encounter younger versions of Johnny, Sonya, and Jax. Dark Raiden is erased from existence, leaving behind Shinnok's amulet. Past versions of Scarlet, Erron Black, Baraka, Kano, Shao Kahn, Liu Kang, Katana, Kung Lao, Jade, and Raiden also appear. When he discusses what is going on with Kotal, Raiden realizes they were all teleported 27 years in the future. Past and present are colliding, creating a new timeline. Shao Kahn's forces begin to fight against Kotal to reclaim the Outworld throne. Kotal defeats Shao and his allies. D'Vorah arrives and brings Shao Kahn's forces and Collector to her hive, recruiting them into Kronika's army. Earthrealm and Outworld forge an alliance against their common threat, Kronika. Geras, Kronika's henchman, manages to steal powerful energy capsules containing Earthrealm's life force. Liu Kang and Kung Lao try to stop him, but Geras uses his chronokinetic powers to escape. He leaves both Shaolin monks unharmed as Kronika needs them for her plan. Raiden goes to the heavens to meet with the Elder Gods. Cetrion tells him that they cannot interfere and stop Kronika from creating her new era. The Special Forces learn that Sector, Frost, and the original Sub-Zero noob Saibot are building a cyborg army for Kronika. Hanzo Asashi and Sub-Zero team up with Cyrax to stop them and successfully destroy their facility.
Machine or man, you have a warrior soul. As long as I am Grandmaster, the Lin Kuei will welcome you. Until we meet again.
The Black Dragon and the Cyber Lin Kuei attack the Special Forces base. They capture the past versions of Johnny and Sonya and wound the current version of Johnny. Sector dies in the assault. Cassie wants to save her parents, but if anything happens to one of them, she would be erased from the current timeline. Sonya takes advantage of this timeline loophole to kill the younger version of Kano, erasing his present self as well. In Outworld, Kotal Kahn meets his past lover Jade, who was brought back with the Time Rift. However, Kotal changed since he became Emperor, and Jade doesn't really like that new brutal side of him. As the lovers are tearing each other apart, Shao Kahn comes and breaks Kotal's back, crippling him. Katana then defeats Shao Kahn and blinds him. Jade comes back to heal Kotal. Kahn decides to abdicate the Outworld's throne in favor of Katana. Raiden returns to see the Elder Gods, but they're all dead. Cetrion, who happens to be Kronika's daughter betrayed them. Things are not looking great for Raiden's team right now.
Nature demands equilibrium. Balance is perfection. You have stepped out of your role, made that balance impossible. That's why the new era holds no place for you.
You will not succeed.
Raiden sends Jackie, the past version of her father Jax, to Shang Tsung's now abandoned island where the first Mortal Kombat game took place. They need to get a powerful crown that could enhance Kronika's powers should she find it. Of course, they're not the only ones there. The father-daughter duo successfully defeat the Revenants Cabal and Jade, as well as Noob Saibot. Present-day Jax also shows up to stop them. He made a deal with Kronika to protect Jackie and needs to get the crown. The younger Jax knocks out his older self and proceeds to escape the island with the crown, his daughter, and his older self. They are stopped by Cetrion, who splits the ground in two, threatening to kill Jackie if Jax doesn't hand over the crown. Hanzo Hasashi, the present-day Scorpion, goes out to find a way to reach Kronika's hideout. He meets D'Vorah and his past self, who is angry at him for making peace with Sub-Zero. The two Scorpions battle, and D'Vorah fatally poisons Hanzo Hasashi. His dying wish is for his past self to let go of his anger and join the rest of Earthrealm's warriors. Scorpion agrees and lets everyone know where Kronika is hiding. For the third time in the Mortal Kombat story, Raiden is becoming crazy again. Shinnok's amulet makes him more suspicious than ever, and he attacks Scorpion on sight. Liu Kang stops him, and Raiden realizes they already fought in multiple timelines. Kronika wants them to fight because their combined strength is the only thing that could stop her.
I do not need trust. I demand obedience.
Enough of your madness. If you must die, so be it.
This has happened before.
To prevent the two heroes from teaming up, Kronika kidnaps Liu Kang. The Earthrealm and Outworld armies join forces to attack Kronika's keep. They defeat Geras and Frost, disabling the Cyber Lin Kuei. The older Jax joins the hero's side. Raiden is forced to face the Revenant version of Liu Kang, who absorbed the life of his past self. The plan of Kronika is to separate Raiden and Liu Kang, so making them kill each other is the perfect solution to her problems. But Raiden understands her plan, and instead of killing Liu Kang, he uses his powers to merge with both Revenant and past Liu Kang. This new combination becomes the powerful fire god Liu Kang. The Earthrealm and Outworld forces breach the keep, but Kronika uses her powers once again to turn back time to its beginning. Fire god Liu Kang is immune to this power thanks to his godlike status. He defeats the Revenant army and Cetrion before battling Kronika.
Sculpting the sands of time requires great power and skill. You have neither, Liu Kang.
Fire God Liu Kang defeats Kronika and meets a now mortal Raiden, who offers to be his advisor for the rest of his lifetime. Mortal Kombat 11's expansion, Aftermath, is the last piece of the puzzle so far. Following Kronika's defeat, Fire God Liu Kang and Raiden want to use Kronika's hourglass to restore history. They are interrupted by Shang Tsung, Fujin, and Nightwolf, who are all imprisoned in the Void for refusing to join Kronika. Her death freed them, but they warn Liu Kang that using the hourglass would destroy time instead of fixing it because Kronika's crown was broken in the battle. Shang Tsung convinces Liu Kang to send him, Fujin, and Nightwolf back in time to steal the crown before Cetrion recovers it. Even if Raiden is suspicious, Liu Kang agrees and sends the trio back in time. They arrive right when Katana was about to face Shao Kahn. As they need to battle against Cetrion, Shang Tsung determines that their best chance at winning is to resurrect Sindel once again. Sindel defeats Cetrion and helps the trio secure the crown. But of course, Shang Tsung cannot be the hero of this story without betraying anyone. As the offensive on Kronika's keep is about to begin, Shang Tsung asks Sindel to save Shao Kahn. Instead of letting his allies use the crown to restore time, Shang Tsung wears it to gain its powers.
Kronika was wise to banish me. With this crown, I am her equal.
Shang Tsung defeats Nightwolf, Raiden, and Fujin. He even betrays his allies Shao Kahn and Sindel. He defeats them both and steals their souls. He then battles Kronika and steals her soul as well. Shang Tsung is now ready to use the hourglass to bend time as he pleases, but Fire God Liu Kang appears to stop him. Shang Tsung realizes that Liu Kang was well aware of his intentions, but let him kill everyone to make sure the crown would remain intact after Kronika's defeat. The fire god Liu Kang and Shang Tsung battle for the crown. Liu Kang defeats his opponent and erases him from existence. He forges his own new era and goes back to his Shaolin temple to train a new Mortal Kombat champion, the Great Kung Lao. Thank you very much for watching this video. Which Mortal Kombat character is your favorite? Mine's Noob Saibot. Let us know in the comments, and don't forget to like this video and subscribe to the Leaderboard for more gaming content every single week. I've been Caboose with the Leaderboard, and we'll see you next time.